ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वर्स् 267 प्रवृत्तौ वा निवृत्तौ वा देहेन्द्रियमनोधियां न किञ्चिदपि वैषम्यम् अस्त्यज्ञानिविबुद्धयोः. So Vidyaranya is answering the question of a student that how come even after gaining this knowledge, well, I am not liberated. So, and the knowledge which is born of pramana, well, definitely should lead to moksha. Because if the vastu is known as it is, then therefore definitely that knowledge does its job. If vastu is of a one type and it is known differently, then you won't get the result. Rope is there, then you should know it as a rope. If you know it as a snake, well, then you will not be free from the fear, etc. So, Jnanam will definitely, it should be born of pramana. And it is vastu tantram, it is always in keeping with the object. So, as the object is, so vastu is advaitam, atma, advaitam, then definitely, it should do a dvaita nivrutti. That's a phalam. So, his question is, how come it is that still in my mind, dvaitam alone is the truth. Even though I have gained this advaita atma jnanam, still how? Dvaita nivrutti has not taken place. Why? What is the block? Vidyaranya said, well, it is only because you are not using word I properly, carefully. So when one is vague about that, well, it becomes problem. So you say you are having knowledge, but really speaking, there is a vagueness there. So it is so that you may not be aware of that there are two components in I. One is ahankara and other is sakshi. And they are physically inseparable. So sakshi means this consciousness. Ahankara means our medium, bodies. All the three. Even though we won't count karana sharira, I have given you the reason for that. We generally count physical body and the subtle body, where the consciousness manifests. We sometimes call reflection, we sometimes say manifestation. So that is ahankara. Consciousness manifests in subtle body plus gross body plus causal body. Of course it will be there. Then definitely that is ahankara. But one which manifests, that's a sakshi, consciousness. And these two things are inseparable. And so ahankara can never be separated from the sakshi. You may feel that that ahankara, sakshi, viveka means, well, I will separate. And pure sakshi I will know. That is impossible. No one can know pure sakshi. Only you can make ahankara mithya. In fact, in 10th chapter we'll discuss. That is a big thing. Of that, how will I know sakshi? Pure sakshi. What is the location, etc. There he has answered all these things. Anyway, so ahankara can never be separated from the sakshi. Ahankara and sakshis they are always together. Ahankara, but still, how can you say that I has both components? You are blaming me, or teacher, you are blaming me that I am confused about still the I, and that's how the jnana phalam is not there. I am using word I very loosely. You are saying me like that. Please explain me how. So he says it's a mixture of two. Are you aware of that? And you feel that ahankara, sakshi, viveka I have taught you means, well, I will separate. And this ahankara means that the I sense will go totally, and pure sakshi remains. And then I will turn my head, my mind towards that sakshi, and I will come to know that this sakshi. This is not going to happen. It is not going to happen. This kind of notion has arisen because of a improper study of the Upadesh Sara. Well, anyway, so my point is, sakshi, ahankara cannot say I independently. It needs sakshi. Well, because the ahankara itself cannot exist without sakshi. So definitely sakshi is required. So when I will arise, definitely ahankara will be there, of course, but then sakshi also is there, because ahankara's existence itself is due to sakshi. So ahankara can't say I independently. It needs consciousness. Just ahamvritti is not enough. You know very well. I is a conscious entity. Nobody can deny it. And therefore, it definitely, consciousness is there. Sakshi is there. Sakshi cannot say I, because it is free from the very mind, subtle body, and otherwise it is not sakshi. If you include mind, body, senses and everything, well, that is not sakshi. That's not sakshi. If you include, it's a aupadika atma. That is ahankara. And therefore sakshi cannot say I, because it doesn't have this body, mind, sense complex, etc. Ahankara cannot say I with independent of Atma, the consciousness Sakshi. And therefore, whenever you use the word I, both are there. Both are there. So mixture alone does all transactions. It's always a mixture. Only thing is, Jnani knows one as mithya, other as satyam. And therefore, ahankaramsha is a mithyamsha, sakshyamsha is a satyamsha, and satyanrute mithuni kritya. Right? And therefore, when sakshi uses the word I, well, you should understand mixture is there. I mean, Jnani, let us say. Jnani uses the word I, mixture is there. Jnani is aware of both the components. When Jnani introduces someone as his guru, etc., well, then he's telling it from the ahankara standpoint, because he is aware of both. That I includes both. One is mithya, one is satyam. And therefore, he uses both the ways. I. He can use it. His I is different. Right? He uses differently. So when he says this Swamiji was my teacher, this is from the standpoint of ahankara drishti. There he has done bhagatyaga lakshana. Means that sakshi amsha, he has kept it away. And when he says I am nitya muktaha, I am aham brahmasmi, well, definitely he takes bhagatyaga lakshana. Ahankara, he keeps it away. Mithya. And therefore Jnani uses I not loosely. He is aware of both the things. And he knows Whenever I use word I, even after doing viveka, this mithya amsha can never be physically away. It will be always there. Ahankara that mithya amsha will always be there till the body is there. Ahankara means definitely these mediums. Medium means prarabdha. And therefore in that medium the manifestation of Sakshi also will be there. So mithya means it will remain all the time. There is no knowledge. Let me complete this thing, then I will tell you. So he does Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana at both the places, definitely. So when, now this question, who says Aham Brahmasmi? Who says Aham Brahmasmi? Who says? Well, simple, mixture. Mixture only says. The I, because the very word I, forget about Brahman, etc. Very word I, Jnani uses mixture. Sakshi cannot use I because he is free from even this body mind sense complex. Sakshi, in absence of this body mind sense complex, cannot use I. Ahankara cannot use I because the I means conscious entity. Therefore, definitely very existence of Ahankara is due to consciousness. Sakshi is required. And to tell, the Sakshi to tell I also, it needs this subtle body, etc., mind, etc., required. And therefore, I is always a mixture. Therefore, when a person says Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, definitely it's a mixture. Only thing is, from the mixture, he does a Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana, removes Ahankara as a mithya. That's all. And when he introduces or he says, oh, I am eating in the dining hall, etc., or I am right now, I have a class and I am talking to my students, well, then he does Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana. He keeps that Sakshi Brahman away and talks from the standpoint of Ahankara. That's all. Simple. It is as simple as this. There should not be any confusion. Aham Vritti will go, resolve, and then comes and something comes and nothing comes. This is what it is. Aham Brahmasmi is told by the mixture. One who knows in the mixture one as a mithya and other as a satyam is a jnani. One who doesn't know that it is a mixture and takes ahankara only as an entity is called ajnani. That's all. That's the difference between them. That's all it is. One who says pot alone is the reality, he is definitely a fool. Pot is not a reality at all. Pot is a mixture of a satyam and mithya. That's all it is. So he's a jnani. So, but if there is, so where is viveka in that? Viveka is satya mithya viveka. That's only viveka, in fact. In Vedanta, the viveka is the final viveka. Jnanam is this. Vivek Chudamani means this. Chudamani means a crest. Well, that this is the viveka, satya mithya viveka. Ahankaratma viveka is satya mithya viveka. Anyway, and therefore, so when he says, anyway, so this is how. So question says, so Aham Brahmasmi, when he says, mixture alone says, out of the mixture, well, he says, I am Sakshi, that's the Satyamsha for him. And so in his mind is very clear. So he says, I am Nirgunam also. And he may say, I am Sagunam also. He may say, from the Ahankara standpoint. And therefore, well, definitely, I am Nirvikara, he may say. Well, then from the standpoint of a mind or Ahankara, he will say, I am a Savikari, I am changing. So basically, this is the criteria. Anyway, and then here we were seeing in this verse, Pravruttau va Nivruttau va. So in Jnani's case, Jnani and Ajnani, this is the difference. One knows that very I is a mixture of the two components, Satya and Mithya. Ajnani doesn't know the I is a mixture. Ajnani, for Ajnani, I means just Ahankara, Jiva, nothing else. who is identified with this body, mind, sense complex. One who is identified with the mediums. That's all, due to ajnanam, karana sharira. Anyway, so pravruttava, nivruttava, it says here with respect to different activities or withdrawals, etc. Well, I mean, there is no other difference. That's what he is telling in this verse, in verse 267, between Jnani and Ajnani. There is no other difference. Difference is just in terms of, it's just a cognitive difference. So, Dehendriya Manodhiyam, with respect, I mean, Pravrutta, with respect to some activity, pursuit, or Nivrutti. Nivrutti means withdrawal. Withdrawal because there is some discomfort. And these things will be there. Pravrutti, Nivrutti will be there at the level of Deha. Outside, if it is raining too much or it is, the snowfall is there, he would not know. He would not go out. Or even if he has gone out, he will come inside at the level. So, this all thing, pravrutti, nivrutti will be there. And, indriya, mano, dhyam, at the level of mind, he shares somebody's, pleasure and pain with somebody. If some good occasion is there, some birthday, etc. is there, he will say happy birthday, happy birthday. He will do that. All these things you might have seen also. All this, so they will do everything. They will do. And if somebody comes and cries and suppose some tragic incident, well, he in his heart there is Jnani's heart is always does a prayer. Believe me, Puja Swami used to tell this. What does Jnani do when there's some tragic situation? He immediately prays. Continuously pray to Ishvara. From the standpoint of Ahankara, oh Swamiji, he prays me his Jiva. Forget about it now. Just forget about it. He is clear what is Satyam, what is Mithya. And so he just assumes, he goes to Ahankara level, Mithya level. The way that hero goes to the level of to the level of that role. In hero's mind, it is very clear. So what is Satyam, what is Mithya is very clear. Even though he is using I, his I is a mixture, please understand. His eyes also is a mixture. So it is not something which we are talking, it is not something which is very some extraordinary or some mystical thing. It's all our experience, basically. Anyway, Dehendriya Manodhyam. And so basically, at the level of a Deha, physical body, at the level of a mind, etc. Well, the mind can empathize with somebody else. He shares both pleasure, pain, everything. That is how Jnani's Lakshana will be Adveshta, Sarva Bhutanam, Maitraha, Karunaha, all this at the level of mind. So when he responds in a situation, it is at the level of Mithya Ahankara. And the same I is used because it's a mixture. There is no other I. One I which is a mixture, well, he identifies with this Mithya Amsha. And otherwise, well, he says, in reality I am Brahman. Same I. Because mixture. And therefore, and Dhyam also. Dhyam, at the intellectual level also, well, there can be some pursuit or withdrawal, etc. Well, these things will be there. But definitely, na kinchidapi vaishamyam. Basically, Ajnani Vibuddhayoho. Between Ajnani and Vibuddha. Vibuddha means say, Jnani person. Na kinchidapi vaishamyam. There is no difference at all. One knows that I is a mixture. Other doesn't know that it is a mixture. It is just Ahankara. Pure Ahankara, Jiva. That's all. That's the difference. Who knows that I am pure Jiva? I'm Ahankara, pure Ahankara. I'm not mixture. Who says that? Ajnani. So let's go to verse 268. Vratra Shrotriyayor Veda Patha Pathakrita Vida Naharada Vasti Vedah Soyam Nyayotrayojyata. Now Vidyaranya gives an example, beautiful example to convey this idea that there is a difference between two, just at the cognitive level. There is no other difference. There is no mystic dimension. There is no mystic dimension here at all. People generally add some extraordinary features so they can justify their reverence for that person, for the wise person, really speaking. Always any Jnani person will be there. Even our Shrestha sadhakas also, somewhere if you talk too much about that Jnani person, they will add this component in that. Some mystical thing they will add. In order to justify their reverence for the Jnani, they do that, which is not generally a good thing, at least for Vedanta. So, so they always add, mystic experience, etc. Vidyaranya says you don't require an iota of a difference even at a mystical level also. We don't say mysticism does not exist. We don't say that. It exists. Well, because Ishvara is there, what? Ishvara can do anything. He may appear also for somebody and give darshanam, or he may he may change the entire thought pattern immediately. Immediately. I have seen that people. And their thinking pattern was going on very negative. And they prayed to their teacher, who was, to that teacher they may be associated with 30, 40 years. And so much Shraddha and reverence, and the person was in pain and he was praying to the teacher that please show me some way. And suddenly, his thinking becomes totally on the side of Vedanta. So these things happen because it's a grace ultimately. So we don't deny this kind of things. But at the same time, we don't, with mysticism does not exist, we don't say. But it is at the level of anatma. That's all. And therefore, it has nothing to do with the liberation. Nothing to do. Mukti has no mysticism. Person with a mystic power also can be a mahasamsari, jealous of others, everything. And because somebody has a more mystical power, then a lot of people will be there, then this person will have a jealousy. And so, ultimately, for this Atma Jnanam or even for Mukti, these things have no place at all. And to convey this idea that there is just a level, there is a difference at the cognitive level, not even at a mystical level, between a Jnani and Ajnani. Vidyaranya gives a Vedic example. What he says, Vratra Shrotriyayo, Vratya Shrotriyayo ho. So Shrotriya is the one who is a Vedika, or he belongs to Vedika family, and who goes through Vedic samskaras also. Basically this Annaprashanam and Chaulam and this all Upanayanam, Vivaha samskara and all this, Vedadhyanam, etc., etc. So he is born in a Vedic family and he undergoes all the samskaras also. He is called here Shrotriya. And Vratya is the one who belongs to Vedika family but does not do any samskara, because parents may not have a Shraddha, or the parents may have a Shraddha, but the child, who has to undergo this kind of samskara, he doesn't like this, or he doesn't have any Shraddha in that. Such a person is called Vratya. Vratya means born in a Vedika family, having advantage of being born in a Vedika family, but does not undergo any Vedika samskaras. That kind of a person. So, people don't wear even the sacred thread also, very well. And no Vedadhyanam and this, etc. What happens is this Samavedis, basically, they start, recently that Vinayak Chaturthi has gone. So, Samavedis basically do start their Adhyanam on Vinayaka Chaturthi. They call it Upakarma. And then, 6 months they study. And then they close they stop the study of Veda, which is a Nitya Karma actually. Right? So, Adhyaya Adhyatavyaha it's a Nitya Karma. And therefore should be studied day in and day out, every day. Every day they should study, but they stop after 6 months. And then rest of the 6 months, they basically, they chant without seeing in the book. But so basically they are children, right, in the Veda Pathshala. So they should not look into the book. So that 6 months, they without seeing in the book, they memorize. Try to memorize what they have studied in the first 6 months. And then, they have to again now start. Now again Vinayak Chaturthi will come, so they will have to start the study. Then at that time, they have to do Prayashchitta also, because they did not study Veda for 6 months. So they do some Prayashchitta karma also. And Then they again start study for 6 months and then again they stop. Like that they do. Basically, this particular person, fallen with the fallen Vedic samskaras, well, is called Vratya. So what I have talked about is a Shrotriya, Samavedi, who is done, who is doing like this. He stops Vedadhyanam deliberately in order to memorize the portion which they have what they have studied. But here, this person doesn't study at all, totally. He doesn't. I mean, he does not get exposed to that. So he belongs to Vedika family, but who has lost the status of Vedika, naturally. They give an example of a tennis, in which, both have same, in a given set, both have the same points, 5 points. Now, one of them has an advantage. They say also, advantage Navratilo, or something like that they say. And she does a service. And she does a service in such a manner that she gets that point. And so she wins that set. So this is how it is. So, but suppose if she is in an advantage position, she should do the service and she can get the point. But suppose if she does service in such a way that she loses the point. So in that case, we will say, even though she has an advantage of winning the set, still she lost, right? Same way this person who is born in a Vedika family. Parents are Vedika, the atmosphere is Vedika, father is doing daily some Agnihotra, etc. Everything is there. But this boy, he just doesn't like all this. So this is the position. So even though advantage is there, born in a family, the atmosphere also is there, but no Vedika samskaras. In fact, this person, even after spending lakhs of rupees in Upanayanam, this fellow within 1 week, it throws out this. So this is how it is. So that such a, this kind of a example we can understand. Veda Patha Apatha Krita Bhida. So this is here. Another example is this between Shrotriya and Vratya. What is a Veda? Veda Patha Apatha Krita Bhida. So Patha means a study. Veda Dhenam. So not understanding the meaning. Please understand. Patha means just chanting of Vedas. That's all. So, what is the difference between Shrotriya and Vratya? Just at the level of a difference at the level of a buddhi. One is doing a patha, other is not doing patha. That's all. Both are born in a Vedika family. So there is no physical difference. Maybe both families are also Vedika, possible. But the difference is this person, basically one doesn't do any patha, the other does patha. So at the level of buddhi we can say there is a difference. Anyway, and so same way, and this is a lot of Vratya. Same way, Acharya says, Aharadau Bhedaha Nasti. Between Shrotriya and Vratya, Aharadau, with regards to eating, talking, and taking bath, or wearing certain dress, etc. There is no Veda. But the Veda will be in Veda Patha Apatha Krita Veda. Veda means a Veda. Only one is doing Veda Patha, other is not doing Veda Patha. That is the difference between Shrotriya and Vratya. Same way. Just this is a case with regards to Veda Purva section. Veda Anta section also will be the same. In Veda Anta also, this Jnani and Ajnani, the difference is same kind of a difference. Means there is no difference at the level of physical level, or at the level of senses, mind, etc. Even at the level of intellect also no difference. In as much as Jnani also may have certain pursuits, Jnani may also withdraw intellectually. Jnani withdraws intellectually. What? Yeah, I told you therefore yesterday that he certain time a discussion becomes too long, he just withdraws because he knows this is not going to help really. So therefore he, and I think I gave you that also Anya Vacho Vimunchatha. Yeah, in Mundaka it is been told Anya Vacha Vimunchatha. And therefore, a lot of, sometime a big discussion going on. Why this dismantling Hindutva, etc., this kind of a seminars are there, and why is university is supporting, and then there is a big discussion going on. This Gnani simply withdraws, he just gets up and go. This is how it is. Because he knows they are all ultimately mithya. Whatever they are talking about is about whole mithya thing. So in mithya, well, if he wants to take interest, he takes, but generally, sometimes he withdraws even intellectually also. And so, or he may have a certain pursuit, intellectual pursuit also may be there. Everything is possible. So no difference at all, except one knows cognitively what is satyam, what is mithya in I, and the other one doesn't know. That's all. This is the thing. Verse 269. न द्वेष्टि संप्रवृत्तानि न निवृत्तानि काङ्क्षति उदासीनवदासीनः इति ग्रन्थिर्विदोच्यते. Now Vidyaranya gives a Smriti Pramana, chapter 14, and two verses combined together, and has been, from one verse he has taken one line, and from another verse he has taken another line, and he has made a one verse. So in chapter 14, verse 22 and 23 combined together here has been put here in this verse 269. So he is giving a Smriti Pramana. First, Shruti Pramana has already been given. And in that, because the 14th chapter talks about a Gunatita. Jnani who is a Gunatita. And so Jnani says, I am a Gunatita. I means what? What? Brahman. So, definitely mind cannot be Gunatita, or the Ahankara cannot be Gunatita. I was just talking about that. So, Jnani accept that he is Ahankara Amsha, or mind basically is not Gunatita. It is an embodiment of three gunas. And and he has done a lot of actually, Karma Yoga, etc. He has attained Sadhana Chatushtaya. That's how he has gained Jnanam also. And so his mind is definitely having a predominant sattva, of course, due to a long anushtanam of a karma yoga. But still it is ahankaramsha. Either if he says, well, my mind is sattvic, etc., he doesn't say that. But anyway, I am free from likes and dislikes, etc. When he says, suppose, it is a purely ahankaramsha. And when he says, I am Gunatita, definitely he refers to Sakshyamsha. And so, Ahankara is a Sattvic, etc., but not Sattvic all the time. He knows very well. And Jnani appreciates, a very beautiful thing is, Jnani, this is the only person in the world who appreciates mind. Nobody appreciates mind, really speaking. So, Jnani is the one who, in reality, Jnani is the one definitely appreciates, his mind. Appreciates Ahankara. That there will be a fluctuation, even though basically my mind is more or less sattvic, but still there will be a fluctuations. And at the Ahankara level, all fluctuations are possible, starting from the body. Because this is also I. It is included in Ahankara. Gross body plus subtle body plus causal body. Plus consciousness, which has manifested into that, we call reflected consciousness, etc. That's Ahankara. Anyway, so Jnani appreciates his knee joint pain also. Jnani appreciates his bodily changes also. Jnani accepts mental fluctuations also. It's possible even a Jnani's mind, because Raja Samsha may become predominant and may react sharply to some situation outside, possible. But then his reaction, he just gets reduced immediately. He becomes immediately, swastha. Immediately he becomes, comes to his own this one. So basically, because mind's fluctuation, what happens is, basically a sadhaka has a more disadvantage. Suppose if another person is there who has not studied Bhagavad Gita or this our Vedanta, etc. So what happens is, when anger arises, he becomes angry, he has a jealousy, everything. And then he reacts also. And whatever he wants to say, he says also. He may even harm others also, everything. And later he forgets. But person like you and me, when our mind reacts, then definitely we will not accept our mind. And basically, we react to our reactions of the mind. We react to our reactions of the mind. Basically, the ajnanis react to the external situation. It's a regular thing. Well, but in a sadhaka's case, it is not just regular reaction, it is a meta reaction in which basically you react to your own reactions of the mind. Like anger. You react to your anger. And then that becomes a very, very. What happens is, what is that reaction, Swamiji? First, regular reaction is anger towards somebody. Then, being a seeker, I react to that anger. What is that reaction? Self criticism. You will immediately criticize yourself. If self criticism continues for a length of time, it leads to depression. And therefore, ultimately, self judgment will be there, of course. Self judgment, self criticism leads to depression. And so, basically, so this introspection, if you do well, definitely, you will find that this self criticism, etc., is there. I mean, I'm reacting to my own mind, etc., which has done some reaction, anger, etc. So, this kind of a meta reactions we call is there in a sadhaka. Regular reactions are there in an ignorant person, and he forgets also. Even you after 3-4 days, you tell him you are so angry upon me, and you spoke these words and that and these. He said, yeah, well, did I speak that? Okay, sorry. He has forgot, and again he will react, and then again he will react, and then again he will react. This sadhaka starts introspecting, and then he says, oh yeah, why this reaction should come to me? And so he reacts to his own anger, and he criticizes himself. May lead to depression also, we don't know. Anyway, but Jnani is free from regular reaction first. And even if he is not free, some anger, suppose due to Rajoguna's pradhana, well, if it is predominance of Rajoguna, suppose anger arises, because anger is definitely is a product of Rajoguna. Lobha also is a Rajoguna. So, suppose, because mind fluctuation he has accepted, and therefore, suppose Rajoguna will be there, and so, well, effect of this Rajoguna is anger arises, but he will not react to his own anger. Meta reaction will not be there. It will not be there. So that's the difference. Ajnani has all the time regular reactions, is a very reactive. Sadhaka will have this reaction to the reactions, and Jnani is free from. Even regular reactions also will not be much, but in case if it arises also, then he will not react to his own reactions. And so, he knows this ahankara is mithya, and ahankara will never be free from the gunas. Ahankara will be always fluctuating, savikari, and so basically he will not react to his own reactions. And he will say also, various known and unknown reasons are there. Well, I should not react to the reacting mind. Well, even though say I am angry. Suppose if he says, he knows it is a mithya. It is a mithya because this is at the level of ahankara, and krodha anger is a product of a guna, and definitely ahankara is with the gunas. It can never be free. Ahankara can never be, you can make it predominantly sattva due to karma yoga, upasana, etc. But you can never be free from the guna, because ahankara is basically made up of guna. Ahankara is made up of guna. But ahankara is consciousness. No, it's just a manifest consciousness. It's a abhasa, chidabhasa. And basically other things are all guna only. Get subtle body, gross body, right? Everything is basically even causal body also. So we malin sattva, let us say. So it is with the guna. And therefore ahankara can never be free from the guna. Ahankara can never be free from the fluctuations of the guna, and therefore even if suppose some reaction arises, he will not react to the reactions. He accepts anger of the mind. He will say like that, I was angry before. He will say that naturally. Ahankara, you cannot say this. Ahankara is a part of I, but is mithya for him, and therefore he will not react to his own reactions. That is what. Why did you say so much? Because Bhagavan says here, na dveshti sampravruttani na nivruttani kankshati, etc. Before that, prakashancha pravrittincha, I have told you that. Prakashancha pravrittincha mohamevacha pandava. That line also we should include here. And so, prakasham. So, sattva guna effect will be there in the mind, and this pravritti, basically, rajoguna, etc. will be there. Moham, tamoguna will be there. Na dveshti. Well, Bhagavan says, na dveshti sampravruttani. Even they arise, their effects are there. Jnani does not hate his own mind. Jnani does not hate ahankara, does not hate his mind. Mind may be in a sattvic mode or a rajoguna mode or any tamoguna. He will not hate. So, udasinavat asina. He remains, udasina. Udasina means indifferent. He remains indifferent to his own mind, or the reactions of the mind, or the modes of the mind, varieties of the fluctuations of the mind. He remains indifferent. He is not frustrated. Because he knows, there is no question. It doesn't affect me, the consciousness. So I being asanga, basically, mental conditions don't affect my real nature. So iti granthi beda, this is called granthi beda. See? Granthi, we feel granthi means anger is there, jealousy is there, means ignorance. Even though I have knowledge, but Swamiji, anger is there. Even though I have knowledge, Swamiji, still jealousy is there. Even this is something. The granthi means this. Even though all these things are there in a fluctuating mind, fluctuating ahankara, he says, I am free from all of them. That's the Granthi Beda. That's the Granthi Beda. We feel that Granthi Beda means his mind should become totally free from anger and hatred and jealousy and all that. Need not. Predominantly sattva will be there. But still, Rajoguna effect will arise sometimes Tamoguna effect will arise. He will not react to these various gunas. Na dveshti sampravruttani. Sampravruttani means when they become active, either of the gunas or the effect of the gunas. When they become active. Na dveshti. He does not want to withdraw from that. He does not want to run away from that. Anyway. So, granthi means chit jada granthi. Ahankara atma granthi. That's only granthi. If you separate it, then let the ahankara or the mind has its own problem. Let it be there. Verse 270. Audasinyam videyam chet vatshabda vyarthata tada nashakta asya dehadyaha iti chedroga eva saha. So student now raises a question. This is a Pancadasi, And he says to teacher that you quoted very nicely this Gita shloka, etc. Well, but I have to correct you, teacher. You are quoting wrongly this kind of a verses. Gita shloka does not talk about Granthi Beda. Yeah, you are saying Granthi Beda, well, Chit Jad Granthi, Ahankara Atma, etc. And at the level of Ahankara, all these fluctuations will be there, and still he does not react because he knows he is Brahman, Asangaha, etc. No. It is not like that. So, actually, this shloka, Bhagavad Gita verse, talks about Audasinya Vidhi. Means, Vidhi. Vidhi means basically a discipline, a rule. Rule to a sadhaka, basically. This verse is Bhagavan is telling something to sadhaka. Bhagavan is not talking about a siddha, jnani. It is Bhagavan is talking to sadhaka. What does he talk? Audasinya vidhi. What is this Audasinya vidhi? Audasinyam videyam. So Bhagwan said what? He is telling to student is telling to teacher. See, udasinavat asinah. Asinah remains. Udasinavat. Like a udasina, like an indifferent person. So, udasinavat asina. This sadhaka should remain like an indifferent person if he wants to gain knowledge. He should be like this, indifferent person. So, he should remain udasina. See, what happens is in previous line, Bhagavan said what? Na dveshti sampravruttani, na nivruttani kankshati. So, na dveshti sampravruttani means what? He should not dveshti, he should not hate or he should not run away to whatever happens around. Sampravuttam, something has happened around, it has arisen, something has become active. He should run away, he should hate. Na. And so, that is one thing. Na nivruttani kankshati. Kankshati, desires. Nivruttani, something has gone. Nivruttam, something has gone and that he wants back or he desires that. So, he should not run after to the things which have been withdrawn, or he should not hate or run away from something which has arisen. He should not withdraw from something which has arisen, or he should not run towards something which has gone away. Nivruttam, gone away. Right? So, sadhaka should remain inactive. Udasin. This is vidhi. This is not talking about a jnani. What are you talking? Sadhaka should be like that. Something is, something has gone away from his life. He should not run after that. Or something has arisen around him. Some situation. Looks very uncomfortable. But still he should not run away. That's what it is. He should remain indifferent. That's all. That's what is being told. And you are saying, udasina. What is this? Audasinyam vidheyam. So, quietude or actionlessness, etc., is the vidhi here. Out of these two shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. This is what we have to learn. You are talking about jnani. It is not about Siddha Purusha, it is about sadhaka only. Don't take it as a granthi beda vakyam. What is the chit jada granthi and then etc. No. Nothing of that sort. Iti chet. Teacher says, if you interpret like this, well, I don't accept. Because you gloss over of the words of the scriptures. Udasina vat asina. What about vat? What? So, Jnani is a person like Udasina. Jnani is as though indifferent. When there is as though, means it is really not there. Understand? If I tell to some person, you are as though beautiful, means what? So, here, if it is like that, udasina asinaha, he should remain indifferent. Fine. That's a different thing. Udasina vat, as though. And therefore, we cannot, there is no, we can't say that Jnani should not be active. Or Jnani should be active. Nothing should be told. So, Jnani can be active, Jnani can be passive also. And there are statements in the Shastra for both the types of Jnanis. Pashyan, Shrunvan, Sprushan, Jigran, Ashnan, Gachan, Swapan, Shwasan, Pralapan, Visrujan, Unmishan, Nimishan. Even speaking itself, we become so active, our tongue. Tick, tock, tock, tock. So then what about the Jnani who is doing this? Pashyan, Shrunvan, Sprushan, all activities are going on. And therefore, there is no commandment for passiveness. Don't say that. Vidhivakya, etc. Don't say that. Jnani can be happily active also. Jnani can be inactive also. And so he says, Vat Shabda Vyarthata. Siddhanti says, well, Shabda means a suffix here. Vat. Udasina Vat. What about that Vat? Teacher is asking to him. So, that Vat, which is suffix, which is added to that word Udasina, etc., becomes redundant otherwise. If Krishna actually prescribing your view that passiveness is enjoined, then passiveness, if it is enjoined, why what? Like, passive person. Like, why like? It should be like that yeah, he should become passive or he should be indifferent. That's all. He should not, he should be like indifferent person. Means what? As though. What means as though or like? So that's not correct. So this is talking about a gunatita, a person, a jnani who definitely is free from the gunas, and definitely guna arises at certain level. Yeah, with the level of ahankara, which is mithya, he knows, he is a jnani, and that the satya, well, I am Brahman, which is satyam, which is free from any guna, nirgunam, and therefore, when such a person knows that I am gunatita, I am nirgunam, then any guna arises at the level of a mithya, well, he is not perturbed by that. That's all it is. So, udasina vat asina. He remains indifferent to all these fluctuations pertaining to ahankara. That's all it is. Then student got convinced. He came out with another suggestion. Okay. There is no commandment of withdrawal. Fine. There is no commandment of udasina, etc. Withdrawal. Because vat is there, yes. I gloss over that particular suffix. And I just took it udasina only. I forgot that vat. And I did not count it, etc. And the idea of this two shloka is Jnani has a freedom to be active, to remain passive, whatever. Everything is fine. But because of the strength of the knowledge, he will become inactive. Because of this is glory, right? Because of the strength of knowledge, he becomes inactive. Asya dehadyaha na shaktaha. Asya jnaninaha. For this jnani, dehadyaha, deha adi, deha, mana, body, mind, sense organ, etc. Na shaktaha. Shaktaha, capable. Ashaktaha, na shaktaha means ashaktaha, will not be capable. Because of the strength of the knowledge itself, his body, mind, sense complex become incapable of doing anything. So nice, right? Atmaratihi, Atmatruptihi. So, well, Atmaratihi. Because he dwells, right? He dwells in himself, and Atmatruptihi, he is satisfied with himself, and therefore his mind, body, senses all become inactive. Totally. So even though he has freedom to be active, to remain passive, everything, but he will be incapable of all actions. Let us take that meaning. O teacher. Vidyarthya says, iti chet. Well, if you conclude like this, that means Jnani will become what? Vikaling. Jnani becomes a vikaling, sick person. Because all Jnani becomes a sick person. So if you argue like that, well, it is not description of a Jnani. It is not a description of a yogi, but it's a description of a rogi. And therefore, basically, so it says here, rogaha eva saha rogaha. So, rogaha means rogi. That's a particular suffix here. There are two suffixes actually. In suffix also is in terms of a possession, or there is another suffix a also in terms of a possession. So rogaha asya asti iti rogaha. Like papa, I have told you once. Like papam is a word, means sin. Papaha means sinner. So papam asya asti iti papaha. Rogaha asya asti iti rogaha. Or rogi. Both. Could you follow? So saha eva rogaha. This person, nobody will go to his class because he's a sick person. If I become sick, why should I go to him? Because his mind, body, senses, everything is inactive. And maybe, so nobody would like to go to such a person. Everything is inactive. And inactivity brings all problems. Yeah. Sharira yatra pichate na prasiddhyet. Bhagavan must have done like this to Arjuna, and every teacher also does like this. So, what happens is, Shariri yatra pichate na prasiddhyet akarmana. One who is inactive. Bhagavan says, well, I am sure he will not be able to live long. We have seen also. If mind, body, senses, everything becomes inactive, definitely diseases will come. And then to such a jnani, who will go? Nobody will go. And therefore, dehadyaha na shaktaha, don't say that. Dehadi, etc., jnani's body, mind, sense organs will be incapable of doing anything because of atmaratihi, atmatruptaha. And therefore, because he revels in himself and he is satisfied with himself, and so remains inactive automatically. Don't say that. Jnanis are active, jnanis are passive. Both the types of jnanis are there. Anyway, with this, we will complete. We have completed verse 270. 271 we will see later. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.